So we've got another beautiful blue sky day here in Finland, but I'm not here to talk to you about that. So we'll talk morality. So we live in an era where people are allowed to make all sorts of claims about what they believe in, what their moral values are. And my question to you is should we always take what people say about themselves at face value? For example, you might get somebody who says that they're a Liverpool fan, which may or may not be true. So you've all heard of that phrase, actions speak louder than words, haven't you? So in this case, to decide, you'd need to study the behaviour of this person. Do they go and watch the games? Have they ever been to Anfield? Have they got, I don't know, a scarf or a hat or something? And you'd look at those kind of objective facts as a way of discerning whether they are or aren't a Liverpool fan, rather than basing your judgment too much on what they say, what they've claimed to be. So a bit of Latin for you. De facto, I'll put that up on the screen, it means to be defined by your actions. So, obviously in this case, we know what a de facto Liverpool supporter would be like. They would spend a lot of time in Liverpool and they'd be wearing the colours of the football club. So what about a de facto Christian? Well, I guess that would be a person who, through their actions, you could discern that they were attempting to live in accordance with the teachings of Jesus Christ. So, for people that haven't read the Gospels, just to super simplify this, this would be somebody who was living their life by applying the golden rule, which is to do unto others as you would like to be done to yourself. So if you see somebody like that, you could label them a de facto Christian, because they're living or attempting to live a Christ-like life. So this person might be super generous, or probably would be, caring and loving, and ruthlessly honest, because Jesus was certainly that. So I think what's really interesting here is that some of these people who are de facto Christians, some of them might not even claim to be Christian themselves. They might self-identify as an atheist. But that wouldn't, just because they don't proclaim to be a Christian with their mouth, it doesn't mean that they're not a de facto Christian if they're living a Christ-like life and they're treating, as I say, other people in a manner that they would like to be treated in themselves. And I think this is a very, very important point. So what I'm talking about here is that old cliche of actions speaking louder than words. And I also think that a lot of this old wisdom encapsulated in these sayings comes from our Creator. And I also think too that many of our organised religions have been taken over and corrupted from within. So then you get other people who proclaim to be Christians. They proclaim it with words that come out of their mouth. But many of these people are not de facto Christians, in that you would never guess from their actions, you would never guess from the way that they lived their lives that they were Christians. In other words, you would never guess from their actions that they believed in the teachings of Jesus Christ. Do you get what I'm saying here? What I'm saying is that you might have people who self-proclaim to be Christians, but they're not de facto Christians. You would never tell that they were Christians from their actions and the way that they actually lived their life. And I would say, yeah, it does matter, because I've actually read the New Testament. If you read what Jesus says, he constantly reminds people that just talking a good game isn't enough. People need to change their lives and be better people. This is what God expects of us. And, again, these Bible quotes here that I'll insert at this point. So it's, from my perspective, it's no good just thinking that everything will be all right if you just talk a good game and your actions don't match your words. In fact, if I was to be very, very harsh, I have known people who have proclaimed to be Christians who are actually really de facto Satanists. And what I mean by that is, if you actually look at their actions, their actions sort of betray the fact that maybe their underlying attitudes of one of like Satanism. So Satanists are all about ego and selfishness. So, for example, during Divock 91, these people were ruthlessly pursuing their own self-interest. So they went along with stuff to get, I'm going to say furlong, but I don't mean that, I mean that. They didn't care about the damages of the L downs to young people who ended up getting rid of themselves. Let's talk about this in a roundabout term so this video doesn't get doesn't get banned. Worked with some of these people. Some of them like read bits out from the Bible in chapel, but their actions, to my mind, indicated that they were more Satanists than true Christians, because their actions were the exact opposite of what Jesus did, or what Jesus advised us to do in our day-to-day life. So my message today then is that actions do speak louder than words. And I believe that this is a particularly important message for many self-proclaimed Christians. They have to back up their beliefs with actions. Real Christians are de facto Christians. Christians that attempt to live a Christ-like life as far as they can. There are some Christians that will say, oh yeah, but dispensations. And my advice to those people is, you ignore the words of Jesus Christ at your own peril. Another phrase that I would use as well is that I think many self-proclaimed Christians, what they are, they actually believe in churchianity. So they believe in, you can talk a good game, so do whatever you want to do with your life, repeatedly make the same mistakes, treat people badly, and it's all okay if you call upon the name of the Lord and your sins will be forgiven. Well, I'm saying to you, to those people, be very, very careful. What you need to do instead is to spend more time reading the bits of the Bible that contain the words of Jesus Christ rather than the words of mortal men. The thing that I would say too is that the world is, for the world to get better, what we need is more of us who embrace the idea of expressing our morality through our actions rather than just expressions of morality through just speaking some words. The world will only get better through our actions, not through our words. So yeah, my advice to Christians is, be a good Christian, be a de facto Christian rather than a mealy-mouthed Christian, a hypocritical Christian, a Christian that believes in churchianity, a cultural Christian, somebody that goes along with Justin Welby, that attends his organisation. Because as far as I can see, the Church of England under Justin Welby is the exact opposite of what Jesus Christ spoke about and what he said about how we should behave and act. And we've got into the mess that we're currently in because we've had too much de facto Satanism. So people not living a Christ-like life, but living a life according to satanic principles. If you were to look at what people do with their lives, how they interact with others, ego, selfishness, moral relativism, social Darwinism, in the form that many people think that the people that government's legitimate, right, because clever people with better genes than them have got a right to rule over them as part of the so-called government and impose their will on them and to do legalised theft. This is satanic. And it's not a surprise we are where we are. That's all I want to say today, so God bless.